Let me update you on the tea. Yesterday, my mutual hit me up and he was like, do you want to get lunch? So I was like, sure, why not? So we got lunch and then I was wearing like very bummy clothes, wearing like sweatpants, sweatshirt, no makeup. We got lunch and then after we came back to my apartment and we were just chilling in the living room, right? And then he was like, hey, do you want to go to a cafe? And I was like, sure, why not? Like, I don't think I'm gonna get anything, but I don't mind going. Like, I'll just go with you. And then he was like, Derek's also coming. And I was like, ah! But like, gotta keep my cool, gotta keep my chill. Because I didn't tell my mutual that I liked him. Like, I've only expressed subtle interest. And like, I was actually gonna tell my mutual, like yesterday during lunch, like, that I liked Derek. But like, I'm trying to play it cool, so I did it, and thank God I didn't, because like, I don't think mutual would wingman for me. Like, yeah, we're tight, but like, again, like I said, like, I don't know. I was like, oh, like, let me change before we go to the cafe, right? And then I threw on this dress. This dress is like my everyday, like, just throw on dress. Like, it doesn't really mean anything. And I was wearing makeup too, but then I didn't want to like do my makeup because then he's gonna be like, oh, like, why'd you do your makeup? So I had to rock the bare face and a dress. I wore this, and then like when I came out, my mutual was being weird. He was like, oh, like you threw on a dress. But I'm like, no, this is like my everyday like throw on dress. Like, you see me in this everywhere. But I feel like dresses just have this connotation where it's like, if you wear it, you're like trying to be like cutesy fancy. But I was like, that's not, I just threw it on. Okay, moving on. So we meet on the hill and wearing like streetwear. I'm gonna insert a picture right here. Like, that's what he was wearing. It was giving very streetwear, very cute. He was wearing a beanie and he was wearing sunglasses. So I couldn't see his eyes. And I feel like his eyes are like one of the main attractive points in his face because I couldn't see it yesterday. So I was kind of like, like, why am I not as like erratic as like the first time I saw him? You know, one thing that was really cute, you know how people usually don't remember stuff about you, right? But then the first thing we did is like say hi, and then after he was like, oh, like how was your project, like assignment that we were working on? Because I studied together with him the first time I met him, and I told him that I was working on something, and then he remembered, like he asked me that, and I didn't know what he was talking about in the beginning. But then I was like, oh my gosh, like what in the world, like you remembered? Like, I know there's a bare minimum, but like I haven't seen that. So like I was very like, oh my god. We go to the cafe and we're like talking, but obviously it's kind of hard because I'm with my mutual and then I'm with him. Like I want to get to know him, but like I'm not trying to flirt in front of my mutual. So like I'm trying to like be cool, and like it's kind of hard to do a three-way conversation, especially if you're like connected like that way, because like he was talking to him, they're talking about like people but I don't know them, and then like I would talk to my mutual a little bit, and I don't know, it was just like like my mutual went to the restroom. And then that's when I was like, okay, like let me like be a little cutesy, be a little flirty. So I was like, oh my gosh, I only see you wearing a beanie all the time. And then he's like, oh yeah. I should have told him he looks good in a beanie, because like, you know how it's like really hard to rock a beanie, but he does it so well. Okay, but one thing is, like, I followed him on Instagram, right? Like a couple days ago, and man has still not accepted my follow request. But this is the thing. When we're at the cafe, my mutual was like, oh, I posted a post on Instagram. And then he was like, oh, really? And then he was like,